At this middle school in the French city of Marseille, hands are raised, questions are asked, and answers are given. There's also discipline and respect.
En fait, vous avez planté l'ordi. Qu'est-ce que vous avez fait?
The school is in one of Marseille's poorest neighborhoods. Most of the students have financial aid, and their parents earn under 1,000 euros per month. It's also what is known as a priority education school.
Donc regarde, on va faire ça. On va faire ça.
The most important thing is that there are less students than in a regular middle school, where you can have up to 27, 28, 29 or 30. Here there is a limit of 24 by class. It's more comfortable this way. And also, we've put in place groups based on needs. This means they're by groups of competence. With 2 classes, we created 3 groups of competence.
The priority education system was introduced in 1982 to help schools in the poorest areas of France. It's already been reformed twice in the last 3 years. Dominique Dupéret has been the school's principal for 5 years. For him, the changes are striking.
Before the reforms, 40% of the students passed their middle school exam and barely 50% went on to high school. Today we have 70% and sometimes even more who pass their exam, and 100% who go on to high school, some in a general high school, others in a vocational one. So the fact that we get extra funding as a priority education school, plus the involvement of the school staff in constantly innovating the school curriculum, allows us to improve our students' school career.
But is this school more the exception than the rule when it comes to France's state educational system? Especially when a recent report which evaluates school systems among OECD countries revealed that France is in first place when it comes to inequalities in its school system. There are more than 9,000 primary middle schools in France which are classified priority education. 1 out of 5 children attends these schools. This is Bobigny on the outskirts of Paris. Our requests to film priority schools here were turned down. The official reason? They've been inundated with requests since the report. How did France become #1 when it comes to inequalities in its school system among OECD members? Here we are in one of Paris's most disadvantaged neighborhoods, and again we were not allowed to film inside the school. So we asked its director to come outside and talk to us. Véronique Decker has worked in Bobigny for 30 years, and although her primary school is classified priority education, she says she's seen little extra financing. All her students come from immigration backgrounds. Their families live in social housing. She is not surprised about France's ranking.
There's no equality between public and private schools. The private schools are being favoured by the funds they get from parents, by being able to choose their students. We can't get any funds from parents, and that's good, and we can't choose our students, which is also good. But as a result, there isn't any equality between private and public. There isn't any equality between different public schools as well, since the French state accepts that on its territory there are areas of segregation. And this means that, as a result, the schools in these areas are marginalized.
Laurence Blin wants justice, not for her but for her sons. Her oldest goes to a priority education school in Bobigny. She says her son's school is anything but priority. Extra funding has been reduced by 25% and money promised to hire and train more teachers never happen. Laurence and other parents have filed a complaint. They've argued the children are victims of inequality and that their civil rights have not been respected when it comes to their education.
Teachers not being replaced is a big problem. When my son was in 6th grade, for a whole trimester, he didn't have an English teacher. In 7th grade, during the first trimester, no history-geography teacher. And for 2 trimesters, no art teacher. Then in 8th grade, for the first month, no science teacher. It's incredible. How can you expect these children to succeed when there's such an absence? How can they have the same level as children whose teachers are present all year round?
que ceux qui ont des profs des années entières, quoi.
How did France's school system get to this point? What went wrong? Nathalie Mons headed the report which revealed France's inequality in its schools. Inequalities, she says, that have many different facets, ranging from social backgrounds to discrimination.
En France, nous menons depuis une trentaine d'années.
In France, for the past 30 years, we've been carrying out educational policies that are very similar. And the results have not proven to be very productive in the fight against social inequalities at school. For example, since the beginning of the 80s, we've led policies of priority education in which no research has proven any positive results. It's obviously very important to give more educational resources to schools facing difficulties. It's necessary. But when we looked at the resources available, we realized that these extra resources in question had very little to do with students' learning.
Back in Marseille, it's diploma time. Students who graduated last year have come back for their certificates. It's a moment of pride, but also of emotion. Although this school's record has improved, the hope is that more will be done so that it will no longer be the exception, but the rule.
In France, French schools are no longer a way to climb the social ladder. So we have to change this. We have to. And both families and students are asking for this. We have to bring back trust in schools.